Hi guys, it's me. So today I am going to do a review of the Real Brush Pens by Arteza. I'm sure you've seen lots of reviews on this, but I want to test them out. They sent these to me. So it says here that they are light fast, which I've heard before by checking out their website. Unique colors. It says that they're blendable, that they're premium, and then it also has a guarantee. So if you don't like them, they'll send you a replacement. And they're just a company that makes very affordable artist grade art supplies for artists. So that definitely goes along with my belief that art supplies shouldn't necessarily be super duper expensive. So they come in these trays like this. You get 48 colors. I know that some people had repeats, but I didn't. I have all 48 colors. So yeah, let's kind of see. So that's how they look. I did notice that sometimes the brush sizes will vary a little bit. Like this one's a little bit wider than that one. The tips look very, very equal to me, except this one looks a little pointier. So that's just something else to keep in mind. But the caps go on very, very well. They seem to be very nice, easy to work with. So let's do some experiments. Now, they did not send me a watercolor brush. They do have watercolor brushes, but I can't recommend those because they didn't send me any. So I'm just going to use the watercolor brush that I normally use. Yeah, and I'll link that below if you want to check that out too. But yeah, let's get started here. So I am working on smooth paper. These do not perform very well on watercolor paper, on cold press watercolor paper. I'll just show you. So this was a watercolor test that I did on cold press paper. So cold press watercolor paper, not so much. They don't blend very well. They kind of show the texture and they don't go on smoothly. So you do need to use a smooth paper, kind of like hot pressed paper or Bristol paper or something like that. So we're going to use, this is hot press watercolor paper and this is Bristol paper. So that's kind of what we're going to be working with. And let's just kind of experiment with it first. I think first let's do like maybe like a wash. We'll see how the color is. So first let's get it going here. So I'm going to get this nice, and so it looks like you can get a lot of detail with the tip of it. And I'm just adding a ton of pigment because I want to see how it behaves. And then let's use our watercolor brush. Okay, so it looks like you can pull the pigment down, which I like. So that'd be great for watercolor washes and that kind of thing. There is a little bit of a line, but that's probably because it dried a little bit. But I'm okay with that. That looks pretty cool, actually. Alright, and let's just kind of experiment with the brush a little bit. So it looks like you can make nice thin lines. I can't make a straight line to save my life. So it's totally not the brush, it's me in this instance. And then we'll go here, we'll press down, bring up. So start at the tip, press down, and bring up. Just come to a nice surface. Some of the bristles will kind of like sprout out, but it's because it doesn't have any water on it. If I had water on it, you have more control, just like you would with a brush. So it's kind of interesting to keep in mind. These you can use with water. So we can add a little bit. And then I'll show you, like, we can maybe put a dot there. Right at the base and right at the base, and we can see if we can lift it. Sorry, I was just looking for my paper towel there. Alrighty, let's see. So you can lift the color a little bit. can see that or not, but you can lift it. So that's good. Good. Let's see how well they blend. So let's maybe do like a yellow. I do want to say too that they don't have names on them, which I know can be annoying for some people. I don't really mind because I usually work from color anyway, so I'll look at the bottom or I'll make swatches and I'll work from there, but it would be easier maybe if they did have the name on them. So maybe that's something that they'll change. Let's grab maybe, what was I thinking, like a blue color, because then we can make green. Okay, cool. So let's start with the darker color. So let's start with blue first. This one I did use with water. And I'm going to start out here and go in. So you do see that they do blend very, very well. So that's pretty good actually. Very good. And if you get color on your brush, you can just take another piece of paper and just kind of scribble it out until it's clear. So that works very well. I've even seen where you could like transfer the color. So let's maybe do like a yellow and an orange. So I could take the red onto my lighter yellow and I could add that in the brush. And then we can go in and eventually, hopefully, it will become the pretty yellow color. So they are easy to work with. If you want more saturated color, then you do need to go in. It's not like a one layer kind of thing. I would say the pigment is not as saturated as it can be, but that doesn't bother me because you can always go in and add more to whatever you're doing. So, and watercolor is supposed to be very, very like kind of loose and beautiful, and you build layers on top of it. So I don't think that that's like not necessarily a bad thing. Just make sure that you're using smooth paper. If you're not going to use smooth paper, it's going to drive you crazy, because I had done a review for these and then I was like, well, wait a second, let me go and do some research and see what kind of paper they use them on, because it was so frustrating. So if you use the right kind of paper, they perform very, very well. So it might just be that. And the colors are pretty good. I mean, I like them. I think they're very pretty and saturated, and that you could do a lot of wonderful, cool effects with them. I mean, they'd be great for like coloring in a card. I think this would be a really great use for them, like a stamped card or something like that, or an image. But you do have lots of control, which is great. And they do dry nicely. Like this is already dry, and you can layer on top of them. So I could go in with like a darker purple maybe. Yeah, let's see. And I could go in and add on top. And I don't have to worry about this moving. So I do like that you have kind of that freedom of layering, which is fun. Go like that. And it is nice to have a little brush tip. And you get 48 colors. So I think it's a good deal. You know, I would definitely buy these. They're about $1 a pen. You do get a 10% off discount if you use the code that I send you. So if you're interested in buying these, I'll put a link below. And overall, I'm pretty happy with the product. I mean, I'm definitely going to use them in upcoming tutorials. Yeah, so I think that I feel comfortable saying that I would recommend them. I mean, I think it's a good buy. Let's see if we can do. I'm just wondering if I can, let's see here, if it will bleed for me. Oh, I should show you too a few more techniques and do that right. So you can kind of get the pigment to move, which I love, even after it dries a little bit. That's kind of cool. Alrighty. And we can, you know, blot just like you would watercolors to remove a little bit of the color. See? Okay. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to kind of use this. You could also use it in a really fun way, which I love, is if you have packaging or plastic. I'm going to probably use plastic. Just cut it out. Here we go. Alrighty, we can go in and we can just scribble right on the packaging. Just like that. And then I can go in and pick up the color right on my water brush or on any kind of brush. And I can paint with it. And this is great if you want to do like maybe subtle kind of things that don't need to be as pigmented. So I do like that you can scribble it on your pigment and even do some color mixing if you want. And yeah, it works very, very well. So you could. Now, if you, like for instance, if you wanted to use these on top of wet, you could do that. But just know that it's not going to be as pigmented. So let me show you what I mean. So if I put down a pile of pigment or water from my water brush, and then I go in with this pink, which we know is very, very saturated. If I do it here, if I scribble, if I go into here, it's gonna lighten up. And you'll see, because the tip will not have color anymore, or will have less color. So see how it's like white? You can kind of see it's not as saturated as it was. So if I want the pigment back, I would just keep scribbling, and slowly, like magic, it comes right back up. And you can add a lot of layers on top of these. So like, sorry, I'm just gonna get this going. So let's say that I wanted this side to be darker. I could just let that sit for a minute and go in and add more color where I want it. So it's great for layering. If you were doing sketching or something like that, you could let it dry and keep adding more pigment until you get the colors that you want. And this, the same thing. So as long as it's a little bit wet, I can go in and add more colors too. So it does blend very, very nicely. I'm super happy with that. And I just think it's an all-around great product. I mean, it'll be nice to experiment over the next few weeks and kind of see how it works. Just make sure that you're using smooth paper. Do not have the crazy frustration that I did. I tried to do like a galaxy and it turned out a hot mess, and it's because I used this cold waterpress paper. So make sure it's hot press or Bristol paper. We'll try this again maybe with these, but it was very frustrating. So make sure you use a smooth paper. It works better. And I think a lot of water-based ink markers work better that way anyway, on smoother paper. They don't do well on the texture. So that was kind of my bad. So okay guys, so I will have a link below to these markers, so hopefully you will check it out and see if it's something that you would like to purchase. If you've bought these, and I'd love to hear what you think about them, how you use them. Maybe I'll use it in a tutorial. Yeah, but I think they're a really good value. I mean, I'm always looking for a deal. I definitely don't have a bunch of disposable income, so I try to save on supplies, especially good supplies, you know, that's a good quality when I can. I haven't had any problems with the bristles. I have used it a couple of times. I know a few people said, or one person said that I know of, said that the bristles were falling out. So she probably maybe just got a bad batch, because it looks like they're in there pretty good. I mean, I pulled on them a little bit and they seem to be fine. You can reshape them. So kind of cool. But I could understand. I would not be happy either if I got it and it didn't work the way that it was supposed to. But I think they're a really good value. I would personally buy them. So that's all I can kind of tell you. I hope you check out their products, and I know they have other stuff too that has gotten really good feedback. So yeah, so make sure you check out other reviews online too, and kind of see. I like that they guarantee their products, so if it doesn't work for you, you can contact the company and they'll work with you. So I think that's always a great thing. There's lots of companies that don't do that, very popular ones that I will not name, that all of us like to use, that don't stand behind their products. So I think that's a refreshing change. Okay, guys, that's it. Have a wonderful day. It is a commission link. It's a very, very low percentage, by the way, but if you do decide to purchase these, it would be great if you could use the link below, because I do get a very, very small commission if you order them. But if I didn't like them, I would have told you that. I would have probably never have done the review. So I do like them, and I do think that they work really well and that it's a great value. Okay, so I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.